today we'll start with the MicroStrategy Developer. As you can see, this is my MicroStrategy Developer here. This tool is basically used for creating the MicroStrategy database schema. To prepare the data here, what we have to do is we will have to connect to database. We have to get the data. We have to create various attributes, various matrices, and complete database schema, and then we'll create different type of MicroStrategy objects like uh, hierarchy, filters, and then we'll consume all those objects into MicroStrategy report. So this is mostly used by MicroStrategy architect and developers. So let's start with it. The default login, when you just install this MicroStrategy developer, you'll have this blank actually. This user ID and password should be blank. So you can join through this by using the user ID as administrator, and password should be blank. Okay. So these are all the list of projects available here in this MicroStrategy analytics model. So I have created few projects. So today we'll start with creating a project which will contain various portfolios, various different folders. So let's begin with the object here. Begin with the project here. As you can see, various different projects available. I have created a project called POC project, proof of concept project. Now there are different project folder structures here. These are all some of our empty folders, and some of the folder contains some files. So starting from the schema object is basically used to build a schema. Now what is a schema? Schema could be the relations, schema would be the summary data set. Schema can be mean as a summary data set which will contain a list of data sets like tables, uh, attributes, facts. Now what is attribute? Attributes are in form of dimensions, and facts are in form of measures. Okay, so and then list of the tables and various transformation functions you can use, various transformation tools you can use. Those will be listed over here. So I'm just going and trying to show how to create a new project. So once you create all those objects like a schema object, inside the schema object attribute, fact, functions and operators, hierarchies, partition mappings, tables, on various transformations. So you can see these are all the blank now. I had just created one attribute.
Right.
These are all the listed tables available here with me. I've added all the tables from the from the database. Okay. Now I have all these. I have there is no fact I've created, so it is just a blank fact. One attribute I've created. So in the attribute folder, you can find out one attribute as country. Definitely, the attributes can be country, city, regions, dates, month, quarter, product, customers, etc. But attribute cannot be like salary. Attribute cannot be
Number of ones.
Uh,
Like facts, like metrics are number form, stuff like revenue, salary, profit, stuff like that. And
some numeric
facts
value,
are,
yeah,
I'm sorry?
yeah, some numeric value which could be evaluated by a group, aggregated functions, which can be executed
Mm-hmm.
by any functions like sum, minimum, maximum, average, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Those are called attribute, or those are called measures or facts. And attributes are like textual data or string type of
Yeah.
data,
Mm-hmm.
which would be used for grouping elements, making a group. So list of name of the students, class, subjects, city, country, etc., etc. So I have list of tables. I will just go to my table folder and I can see list of all the tables available which I have just connected to database and fetched here. And
Mm-hmm.
from those tables it is difficult to get all those you know difficult to get uh,
The
columns
database.
for reporting. So I will just make a filtration and then I have to create attributes and measure. So anyways, I will just start from the beginning and try to create a project.
So are you able to send me the backup the database?
I already sent,
Or
and
oh, the same database from
the same
for
database,
the
the
oh.
entire database which is sent you, and that is going to be used for the MicroStrategy project development. All right. So in the MicroStrategy Desktop, we created a dossier or the analytics for
Mm-hmm.
creating a POC dashboard. The same data set we will use to create a data warehouse, a kind of you know schema, and
Mm-hmm.
we will try to create reports, various reports here in MicroStrategy Developer. So I have SQL Server database, and you have also the same database with you. That's Intel Email
Mm-hmm.
DB. And before I do anything here in MicroStrategy part, I have
Mm-hmm.
to create a ODBC object in order to connect to SQL Server database. Now, what is
ODBC.
yes? Now, let me tell you what
Okay.
is ODBC. You have an idea earlier?
No, I was just making sure that's what you said.
Okay. So, ODBC stands for Object Database Connection. I repeat, ODBC,
Mm-hmm.
Object
Mm-hmm.
Database Connection.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is an object of Windows where we
Mm-hmm.
just create a we create an object, and that object will contain the connection string or the credential to your database, and that is one of the most secure way to connect to database. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
in order to create ODBC drive object, you have to go to control panel.
Mm-hmm.
Here we have administrative tool,
Mm-hmm.
and here we go. This is what we have, data sources called
Okay.
ODBC,
Mm-hmm.
object database connection. So I have to create a data source connection. You can create a connection string for, you can create a connection for any of the database. So in this ODBC you can configure one database at a time. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
here you have to create basically different type of data source objects,
Mm-hmm.
and these are all the user data sources. In order to create a data source, you have to create an object here. This object name can be given by you, and this object will store the credential of your database. And the same object will be accessed by MicroStrategy when MicroStrategy try to connect to database. It will access to this object, ODBC object. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So I will just create a new object. I had created a SQL IMRA connection. So I will just do that. I will remove it and try to create it once again. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Add a new object.
Mm-hmm.
When it will add, this is the process I am showing you to how to create a ODBC
Mm-hmm.
connection string or ODBC object. So you have to choose different type of drivers available here in order to create a different type of database. If you want to create a connection string to Oracle, if you want to connect to MongoDB, if you want to connect to MySQL, then you can do it. If you want to connect to SQL Server, you can also do it. So we have various connectors here. MicroStrategy ODBC drivers. If you want to connect to Apache, Spark, SQL, IBM DB2, MongoDB, MySQL, Oracle, so all these SQL Server, all SQL Server has the initial another driver also available, which is this one ODBC driver 11 for SQL Server. Okay, you have to choose this driver to connect to SQL Server, and then finish. You have to give your connection name. What should be my connection name? I'll just give my connection name is as con IMRA SQL SQL connection IMRA. Okay, so this is my connection name.
What does IMRA stand for?
This is our database name. Okay,
Oh,
database
you just
name
gave.
is for IntelliMRA, Medical Record Archive.
Oh.
So this is basically the project name from which we
Mm-hmm.
got the data, that medical database. Okay, healthcare database.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
MRA stands for Medical Record Archive.
Okay.
So this is the project name and the database name actually IntelliMRA, and con is a connection and SQL stands for MySQL database. So you can give anything, but your name should be it should be in such a way so that you can easily identify that.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Now server, you have to choose the server name. As I told, if your SQL server is installed in your local machine, you can give the server name
Mm-hmm.
as localhost.
Mm-hmm.
If it is not, and if it is installed in a remote machine, you have to give the IP address or
Mm-hmm.
host name of
Right.
that server. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm going to give localhost is my server name. Next, you have to give user ID and password, which is for SQL Server it is SA, and password is the password which you have given at the time of installation of SQL Server. Now it is connected. You have to choose like the default database. What
Mm-hmm.
database it will get connected. So you have to choose one default database. So my database are various type of databases are available. I'll just choose this as IntelliMRA DB, which will be our medical database.
Mm-hmm.
Now go next and finish. Here you need to test the connection. If a connection is not having an issue, the connection must
Mm-hmm.
succeeded, else it will throw an error. So you need to check here, has the connection succeeded? Of course, yes. So go next. Okay, and okay. So let's see, before I quit here, I have to see that what is the connection string I created here. This is the connection string SQL con IMRI. Okay, that's a user DSN. What is DSN stands for? DSN is a data source name.
Mm-hmm.
Data source name is a DSN. Okay. So now it's time to create a project, new project, and connect to this. So I will right click over here and create a new project. Create a new project. So when I create a new project, we have to click here and give the project name over here.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the project name? I will just give as finance dashboard or IMRA project. Healthcare dashboard. Healthcare dashboard. Okay. Now in which directory the project will be saved, you have to define the directory here. What is the default directory or document where the project document will be stored? So you need to create a folder or location where exactly the projects and their respective folder and files will be saved. So let us just go to our folder and spread folder here, and just browse this folder and this one. Okay. So now the folder is created. Now the next step is to select table from the warehouse catalog. Catalog is stands for catalog is also called as database. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this is basically a different nomenclature.
Okay.
So when a database has professional says a catalog, they can mean this as a database or a data source. So select table from data warehouse database or data warehouse data repository. So the next step would be to creating to connecting to data warehouse. So now we connected to our data warehouse, which is which is a SQL server. Okay. So in the initial session, I told that there is no difference between a data warehouse and a database. It's a simple database,
Mm-hmm.
but in data warehouse, the database structure should be different. It should be a dimensional modeling.
Okay.
So the next is to select tables from the database. Whatever the tables you needed to create the reports, those table you can fetch at a time here. Click here, and you have to choose the connection string over here. So what was our connection string name?
MySQL MR. I saw it over there. There we go. It's the fifth one.
Was it MySQL?
It-
That is it.
Yeah, it's in there. I saw it.
SQL con IMRA.
Yeah.
But why it is not being populated here?
It says MySQL MIRA con.
Mhm. You can straight away, I could not find that from the list. Probably MicroStrategy is initiated before that, and that tool, data source is created later. That's why it did
Mm-hmm.
not get all those data sources. Uh, Maybe on refreshing, or maybe on rebooting MicroStrategy, it will show the data source list.
Well, what if you just cancel the project creation assistant and then
Project will be
create the
so I
yeah.
create here on the fly. Okay, new, create a new connection. Next, SQL IMRA connection, and choose the data source type. Various type of data sources it supports to get connected. You can choose it here. All the type of data sources. Microsoft SQL Server 2014 is our database, right? I'll just
Mm-hmm.
choose this one. Then next, and here once you just choosing this. Oh, oh, here it is. Right, right, right. So I had to create a new connection, and the connection server details and all you don't have to give it here. You have to simply choose the connection parameter. These are all
Okay.
the ODBC object which you have created, right? SQL
Mm-hmm.
on IMRA.
Mm-hmm.
This was the SQL con IMRA, which I was created, and this is now reflecting here. If you don't have the ODBC object earlier also, you can straight away configure here.
Mm-hmm.
So as we have this object, we created SQL con IMRA. I have to choose it, and then once again for authentication, I'll not choose Windows authentication. I will just check. If you just give Windows authentication, and if your SQL server is located in a local machine, it will accept. Otherwise, if your database is in a remote server, it will not accept. So you can choose the data source login name as SA and password. I have. Then next. So now it's time to finish it off. All the details has been saved. Uh,
Already this.
So now it will connect to the database and try to fetch the tables. Now MicroStrategy connecting to all my SQL Server tables. Yes. So I have a lot of tables, as you know, in the IML database, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
here I can just see all list of tables, tables and views. Views also are there in the database. So what I'll do,
Mhm.
I will not just. I told you to read SQL Server.
Mhm.
Did you get an idea about what is a view?
A view?
Yes.
No, I don't remember.
Okay. No issue. I'll just tell you. Yeah, view is just a mirror of the table. You can see
Mhm.
the name is something like T underscore SCL underscore vital underscore item. So
Mhm.
T stands for table, this stands for the client name and the table name, and V stands for view. Okay. So we will not use the views. We will use simply tables.
Okay.
So views are basically the scripts which is saved in form of object, and by accessing a view you will get the data from the table. It is just like a frame where the data from the tables is retrieved or visible. If you do any changes in the view, it will not affect the table. But if you do any changes in the table, it will affect your view. Okay. So I will.
So it's kind of like a copy of a table.
Yes.
You don't want to mess the table up, but
It
you,
is not like a
in
copy
case
of
you.
the table. It is not like a copy of the table. It is just a clone of the table.
Okay.
Okay. Copy is something
Okay.
which is created separately. It will not
Mhm.
affect the original source. But view is just a clone. If you do any changes in the original table, it will instantly reflect in the clone.
Mhm.
It's just like you
Mhm.
are watching on in front of the mirror. If you're doing any
Mhm.
operation, the same thing is reflecting in the mirror.
Mhm.
Likewise,
Okay.
if you join multiple tables by writing a big
Mhm.
join queries, and instead of avoiding writing the queries again and again to get the same result set, you just save this query to form a view. So
Mhm.
data of 5 tables will be shown in a view, and if the data is added to those 5 tables, one by one record is added to those 5 tables, instantly it will be
Mhm.
reflected in the view. Okay.
Okay.
So this is what it is. So view do not have any separate existence here. So we will not take view. I'll just take tables together. Then we will create our view in the MicroStrategy itself. Add it. I've chosen all these tables. Add it to the list so that it can be used in our project. Okay. So all these listed tables has been added.
Mhm.
Now save and read warehouse catalog. So when you just try to click this, it will just refresh the details and save and close. Save and close. So all these tables will be created as a separate objects in our MicroStrategy and would be saved in the MicroStrategy developer only. Unless until the data in the original tables of the database is not changed, this table will remain same.
Mhm.
If there is a changes in the database, then only the data of these tables will be changing. and that is again on a specific schedule. It will not change instantly.
Mhm.
So we can assume it is a complete separate staging environment created. Okay, so all the tables has been added. Now it's time to create the facts and attributes. So I will just add few facts and few attributes, and later on I will add many more. So next is create a fact. So this is basically showing the this window is called as a project creation assistance, which will help you to
Mhm.
create the objects sequentially. Sequentially. Okay. So first of all, I'll create few facts like the column names of the table. Those are mostly integers. Okay, it will be separated. Just like in MicroStrategy Desktop, all your integer values are separated, and string type of data are separated. Here, in order to create a fact, it is just separating the integer values. So country integer, so it cannot be a fact, because it is just a field of the table where the
Mhm.
country ID is passed. So it cannot be a
Mhm.
fact. I will just make the fact of this
Has to be a measure.
just like patient charges or payment, zip ID, item ID. All these IDs cannot be fact. Okay. Amount is a fact. Patient payment can be a fact. Annual income can be a fact. Annual income of the patient is a fact. So I'll just add them here.
Mhm.
Annual income is a fact. Age cannot be a fact. Age is a dimension. Okay.
Mhm. Right.
Charges. These are all IDs cannot be fact. Balance amount is a fact. Bed count. Bed count is a fact. How many beds you want to find out. So that's a fact. Blood group ID. All these are cannot be fact. Even though they are numeric, it cannot be fact. Channel
Mhm.
charges. Charges amount. Charges. Child weight. Uh, no. City ID cannot be a fact. Credit is a fact. Current balance is a fact. Discount is a fact. Longitude, latitude, even though they are numeric, they cannot be a fact. Can they be? They cannot be facts. MB values. I don't know what this field is all about. So later on, I can also add at the facts and attributes at any point of time. So with
Mhm.
minimal values, let me just proceed. Next, these are all the facts I'm going to add here and finish.
Mhm.
Fact names will be like SCL, discount, SCL, all these things. So you can change your fact names at any point of time. Likewise, I will create attribute names. This is somewhere related to MicroStrategy Desktop or not? I'm asking you.
this the whole entire wizard or
This
the
MicroStrategy Desktop, this MicroStrategy Desktop, the activity which we are performing, is it
uh,
evidence with MicroStrategy Desktop? Something.
in the in the developer you make the things, and then uh, in the web, in the desktop, you can use whatever you made, like whatever attributes or metrics you made. Like in desktop, we imported all of the data that we have. Right here, we are using some sort of data to make new data. So like in desktop, like for example, we use Wikipedia, and then we took tables from Wikipedia and then chose attributes and measures, and some were not metrics when they were supposed to be metrics. So you converted that into metrics and vice versa. So developer is where you make things for you to use in desktop. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So next, when I'm trying to create attributes, these are all dimensions. Now
Mm-hmm.
you can see admission date, age is an attribute, alert
Mm-hmm.
date, allergy date, admission date is one of the major attribute. Then I will just add city,
Mm-hmm.
country, date, date of birth. What is patient name? Order date, order MRA number.
You passed all the patient ones.
Status, state, employee number, EMR number, employee number are the dimensions.
I guess you're gonna have to use patient ID.
I'm just trying to find out the patient name.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because I didn't see a patient name either.
So anyway, I can also add from there and try to find out from other tables. So you can also create composite attributes, compound attributes, by adding multiple attributes like date, city,
Mhm.
or quarter, something. Multiple attributes you can join and you can create a compound attribute. Next, I'm not going to add it right now. Next, all these attributes will be created. Next, so the table names has been listed out here. Next, finish. Now architect. So this is the job of the architect to create all this schema.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, the way we created the relationship with in MicroStrategy Desktop, it
Mhm.
was automatically joining the tables while finding the relationship. Here, you have to make a relationship by looking the tables visually. You can see all the tables which we are there in our database are
Mhm.
listed out here. So you can make
Mhm.
relationship from the tables to table. So, for example, where is the patient table? I'm looking for that. I have to search for patient table. First of all, let's just search for country. Country has a relationship with what? State, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So in the state, I have country ID. Here's a country ID.
Mhm.
The relationship is, I can see the relationship is built already.
Mhm.
Now we have a region. We have city. City. City is related to region table. So it is the relationship is also built here. Now in the city table and region is having the relationship with this table, your state table. So here it is, the state. So this way we can see the relationship, and you can frame the relationship between the tables. If you want to forcefully make a relationship with to other tables also, you can do it over here. And patient table, uh, I'll see patient. Account is a patient table. There is a main table which has a patient ID. Now you see, patient ID is related to many other tables.
Mm-hmm.
On clicking patient ID,
Mm-hmm.
it's connected to many other tables. Patient name. So I can straight away create an attribute from the patient table here. Patient name, middle name, last name. Right click, create an attribute from this table. Patient name is an attribute now in the list.
Okay.
Patient gender is an attribute. Create an attribute. Patient
So
test.
basically, in Architect, you have to look for all of the attributes that you selected in the
Yeah, basically,
assistant, the
yes,
project
the
assistant.
architect role is up to creating the data model. Okay, and making the
Mm-hmm.
relationship. So here, pathological test, path test like blood test, sugar test,
Mm-hmm.
MRI test, X-ray test, or any other test also you can create attributes. So the attribute is created against the tables. Whenever you find, then there is this diamond mark is
Mm-hmm.
can be determined
Yeah.
that this patient table has this field is there in the attribute list. So you may have thousands of table fields which may not be used
Mm-hmm.
for analytics, right?
Right.
But we earn few fields which is the cream of other fields and that can be added to the analytics. Drug, drug types. So these are the data type you can see here. Drug trade name come, you know, um, composition, manufacturing date, all these types, and then drug generic name of the drug, hospital name, hospital location is an attribute. I may use it, I may not, but I will just add them to attribute list so that I can easily find out there. Nursing assistant. Uh, if you want to show the relationship, all these tables relationship will be shown from here. So this is window will enable you to like where exactly we are there in our data model. If the data model is too big,
Mm-hmm.
help us to in this frame it will help us to find out where we are exactly. So you can make the horizontal height and vertical height squeezed. And you do any changes, you create attributes and measures out of here and update the schema.
Mm-hmm.
Birth relationship, blood component, uh, city zip code, hospital name, locations, inpatient ad. So these are all the inpatient name, test type of test we have the test names. So create an attribute. Test status is also created an attribute. You can see the relationship. It is when I just click the status ID
Mm-hmm.
is linked to many other tables.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to edit the data type of this field or length of this field or name of this column, you can straight away change it here in order to avoid the relationship. Pathological items, patient name, email address, uh, spouse name, hobby, image, activity. All this cannot be dimension, patient address. So here contact number can be a dimension. Added. So this way we will do it and save and update the schema. If we will simply save and close it, it will not affect to the schema which is created here. And schema is just a kind of logical data model where all the data from the database has been brought and saved here.
Okay.
Save and close and save and update schema. So schema is now updated. So you can now save and close it. So project is created, and this is basically the role of an architect who will design this entire schema. Even if you save and close, it will also
Mm-hmm.
update the schema. Now our project is created, all the parameters are ticked as OK, tick and
Mm-hmm.
mark as OK. Now it's time
Mm-hmm.
to close the project and create other user base, developer object. This is basically architecture object. Schema building schema activity is a part of your job of the architect. This is built one time and multiple time it is consumed by the developer in the reports. So it is just trying to create a project. It will take a little time because
Mm-hmm.
it is just creating and configuring all the repositories and all. It will take a little time because there are a lot of tables we have added, and it will fetch the entire data with the tables from MicroStrategy side and store all those objects in my front end. So that will take few time. Anyway,